Hey everybody, I am Lori from TKS, and today I'm going to show you how to make this absolutely beautiful poncho that you see right behind me. First and foremost, the things that you're going to need today is going to be first your Addi 46 pin or your Sentro 48, either or. We will be making panels, so you're going to be using panel mode. You're going to need 3 to 4 skeins depending on what kind of yarn you use. I used 3 skeins for mine. You're going to need some waste yarn for before and after your panels, as well as some scissors, a crochet hook size 5mm or an H hook, and then of course a darning needle. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. So we are not going to use any of the black pins, so we're going to cast on using white pins only. And for the duration of the poncho, for the panels, we are only going to use the white pins. So we're going to cast on like normal, go around every other pin. All right, so we still want to go around this one because this one, we want to make sure that this one is in play. So all I'm going to do is go around. We're going to put the yarn in our yarn feeder, and then we're going to go the opposite direction. Actually, go back and go in the opposite direction. And we're going to go slow for the first couple of rows. Once we get past that white pin, we want to make sure that, because we're using this one in play, we're going to keep going, and we're going to let this first black pin catch it and drop it down. Once it gets down over this pin, we can go the opposite direction. And when you first start out your panel, you always want to go slow, especially when casting on either the waste yarn or switching your yarn. And you always want to go slow around the black pin. So same thing as before, this last one caught it. So now we want to make sure this one brings it down to go over this one right here. And so once it's over, we're going to go back and we're going to go very, very slow. Another trick that I wanted to teach you guys is when you get to the end, sometimes the yarn does not like to fall down. So we will actually manually push it down. That is normal. That is something that you want to watch for at all times. Once again, we're going to get that black pin. Don't worry about that one. And so we're only making sure that the white ones are catching. So I usually cast on anywhere between 6 to 8 rows. Most of the people that watch my channel have known that I do use a lot of my waste yarn over and over again. So we're going to pull it down, and then we're going back, opposite direction. Okay, so another thing right there, as you can see, it has not popped down itself, so we're going to manually push it down. And then what we're going to do again, we are going to make sure that black pin grabs it, and then we're going to make sure it goes on that side of that. And then go back opposite direction. Okay, so once we get to our last one, remember you guys, I do use a ripcord. So ripcord is going to be the same thing. You're going to take your yarn out of the feeder. You're going to grab an opposite color from your waste yarn as well as your working yarn. We're just going to put those two together. I'm going to hold it, and then we're going to continue doing in the opposite direction. Once you get past those black pins, make sure you guys switch out your counter. We have it zeroed out. So the next row that we go to will be our working yarn. And we'll do the same exact thing. Make sure it pops down. Take our yarn out of the feeder. Grab our new yarn. Grab our tails. And then continue. And we're going to keep going doing the same exact thing, and I'm going to switch different views, that way you guys can see everything. making sure that we still grab that last white pin. The black pin pops it down. Once it pops it down past right here, we're going to go in the opposite direction. And you do want to go slow on when you're doing panels. Don't use a motor. Use your hand to crank it as long as you can. All right, so we're making sure that one's popping down. And then we're going to go back in the opposite direction. And I'll do a couple rows with you guys, and like I said, I'm going to do it a different view. Okay. Remember, sometimes you will need to pop it down. Go down, and then turn back around, and go slow on the sides. This is right here where I call the flats. The flats is where you still have a lot more, a lot of pins left, excuse me. And you can go a little bit faster in there, but once you get down to the side over here, you want to make sure that you slow down because of the fact that you might still have to manually push that yarn down. And we're going to keep going back and forth until we go to 130 rows. Actually, I might make this one a little bit longer, so I'm going to think anywhere in between 140 and 150. We'll do this one a little bit longer. Okay, so I will meet you guys at your desired length. Like I said, I'm going to do anywhere between 140 and 150 for this longer one. Another thing that I wanted to point out, as you guys can see, once we get down a little bit more, your work is actually going to start curling in. That is normal. Here's what you could do for those. If that does happen and you want to stop it as much as you possibly can, get you some of these flatbed knitting machine weights. They have the claws right here. All you're going to do is just hook it to the yarn. Don't worry, it's not going to hurt your yarn at all. All it's going to do, and also too, it makes it easier to pop down right here. And then you're going to keep going back around. Sometimes you'll have to go around those little screws. That is normal. But as you guys can see, it is hanging right there. Let me scooch it up. It is hanging right there, and that is also going to help it from curling up too. Just a tip. Okay, we are on our last row. I did decide to go with a row 140. So what we're going to do is once we get to the end of this one, we are going to switch out with that ripcord method. Ripcord method is actually just one row of yarn opposite from the colors that you have. So I'm going to take my work out of the feeder. I'm going to put everything in the middle. I'm not cutting it, as you guys can see. We're going to switch out to the ripcord method. I'm grabbing one white, and then all we're going to do is grab the two tails and go back the same way we came, and then we're going to complete one row doing this, and this is going to complete our waist row. I'm going to cut that one a little bit short. We're gonna make it. It's okay if it is short as long as it goes all the way through. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to grab my waist yarn, different color, and I'm gonna make sure that we don't lose that tail right there. So we're gonna grab this one, make sure it grabs that pin right there, and then we're gonna go in the opposite direction, doing the same thing. We are making sure that all of the pins are grabbing it, and we are working it all the way through. And I usually do anywhere between 6 to 8 rows of waist yarn for the beginning as well as the end. You don't have to do that many, but I feel it's a little bit better secure. So I'm making sure we're still grabbing that, pulling it down, and then going in the opposite direction. Definitely want to use different waist yarn so that way you can see your work very, very easy. And we're going to go just until it falls off. So once we run out of yarn, our work will fall off of the machine, still making sure that we're pushing that last white pin down with the yarn. And we're going to go all the way until it falls off the machine. Didn't realize I had this much yarn. So I think I got enough. I'm going to put the rest of that in the inside, and then we're going to continue going that same direction. So right now we have no yarn in our feeder going through the machine, so we are doing our cast off, but we're not casting off, we're just going to let it fall off the machine. As you guys can see, it is just falling off. There we go. Okay, so once we have both of our panels off of the knitting machine, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do the mattress stitch, and it's going to keep rolling up. We're going to keep unrolling it. What we're going to do is just kind of match it up as best as you can, get all these tails out of the way. And what I've done, I've got already a tail of yarn, which is about the length and a half of my work right here. And all we're going to do, and I'm going to scroll in really quick, and we're going to bring it into the middle. What we're going to do is we're going to start out on one stitch on here, and we're going to do the mattress stitch. Most of you guys should already know how to do the mattress stitch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into, you guys see where the stitches are facing towards my right side. All we're going to do is we're going to do that same exact thing. We're going to grab the very top. We're not going to grab that waist yarn right there. We're just going to start right from the very beginning of this right here, and we're just going to kind of thread it through. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a lot out, and then we're going to eventually weave it in. So on this side, remember we have all of our stitches pointing towards our right hand. That's what you want to do on here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to skip that very first one. That is our waist yarn right there. So we're just going to grab this side, and we're just going to work our way down. We'll see you guys, we're grabbing just 2 stitches in the inner post, and then we're going to pull it through. I'm not going to do it really tight just to start out, and we're going to just keep continuing going all the way down, grabbing 2 posts on this side. And to get around the work, you might have to kind of finagle it a little bit. And we're going to do the same thing on that side. Grabbing that 2 inner posts. And like you guys see, my work is not tightened at all. We've got a lot of loose, and this is just to help us get started. So we're just going to grab that side, and we're just going to continue all the way down. Once we get down a little bit further, I will go ahead and tighten it up. I want to grab a couple more stitches, and we're just going to work our way all the way down. Remember, you guys, this yarn is not a part of any skeins. Okay, so now we're just going to pull this yarn, and we're just going to pull it tight, and it's going to bring everything together. We're going to pull it a little bit longer just so we can make sure we have enough to go all the way through. And then I always tell you guys, give it a good stretch, and that way it's not super tight. Anytime I do that stretch, all I'm going to do is just kind of release that last stitch. That way you can go to the same exact row that you've been going through, and then we're going to continue all the way down. I'll do a couple more until the next pull, and then what I'll do is just kind of speed it ahead. You can see we're grabbing those 2 inner stitches. And this is just the mattress stitch. Okay, we're going to get that nice little pole right there. It's going to bring everything together, and then straighten it out, pull it up, and there you guys can see is doing that nice and even stitch. It's going to give you that invisible join. Okay, so we are nearing the end. We're still doing the same exact thing, just doing the mattress stitch all the way down. We're still going, making sure that our stitches are going through our right side, are facing towards our right side. And we're going to continue all the way down until we get to our waste yarn. I figure I'd do the last couple of stitches with y'all. All right, I'm gonna do that pull, pull, stretch it, and move it down. Going through the next one. You gotta love when the tails get into your way too. I know we all have that problem. It's just part of the process. This is where we really want to hurry up and rush it just to get it done. But we definitely don't want to. No rush in any one of your projects. Take your time. Go slow with it. Even though it can be a pain in the keister, we all do it. Pull that. Oops, apologize. Pull it, stretch it. Still grabbing that same exact row, pointing towards our right. And you're going to have this kind of curl up on you. That is absolutely normal. All the way down. Last couple ones on that side. Making sure, yep. We got one more on this side. That's the last one on that one, and grab that last one up. Don't forget that last one. Okay, do your pull. All right, and so now you guys can see, so there is going to be a seam on here, right here. You guys can see it on the camera, but in person, it's going to be a lot better. You are going to have this seam going down. That's the only thing about putting two panels together, is because you're going to still have that little curling on that inside. This is normal. I promise you, when you're wearing it, you won't see it at all. All right, let's move on. Okay, so now we are going to get rid of this waste yarn eventually, but first we are going to use a 5mm hook, crochet hook, which is also an H. Remember, we did have one side that did not have, we did not cut the yarn. So this is where we're going to use it. We're going to grab this open very first stitch, and all I'm going to do is just chain one. And then we're going to move down. All you're going to do is you're going to do a single crochet, and we're just grabbing that working yarn, you guys. Remember, the white is that single row on the front side, single row of ripcord method, and then of course your pink is going to be your waste yarn. All we're going to do is grab that very first working yarn right here. We're going to go through, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, and then pull through two. Keep in mind, you don't want to do your stitches very tight for this one. And you're going to do this all the way down. You're just going to do a single crochet all the way across. And so what we're doing is grabbing that very next stitch over, yarning over, pulling through 1, yarning over, pulling through 2. And you're just going to keep doing this all the way across. And like I said, you want it to be nice and stretchy. You want to make sure that it's not going to be too tight. It's not going to cinch up at the top because you want everything to be nice and flush. That's why I'm using a 5mm crochet hook, as well as I'm not crocheting very tight. If you are a tight crocheter, what I would suggest is size up. And as you guys see, we're just going to continue all the way across. And then remember, we're going to have oh my goodness, my words. We are going to go to the other side, so the other waste yarn, and I'm going to show you guys how to jump to that side as well. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Okay, so we're almost to that mid spot. Still doing that single crochet. We're not doing a tight one. All right, so these last one might be a little bit harder to see. Remember, you guys, sometimes this kind of curls up. So we're going to grab this one. Oh, let me tighten this one a little bit more. Looks like we got 2 more. And sometimes this one can kind of hide, especially with all your waste yarn. I'm going to grab this one up. Sometimes you might have to use your nail to help you out. And then all we're going to do is jump over, so get your tails out of the way. And we're just going to jump over to the very next stitch over. So another thing too, if you pull on your waste yarn like I'm doing right now, it will, let me scroll in just a bit, it will kind of reveal that last stitch. So we're going to grab this one that's hanging onto the pink right there. We're going to go in, grab, and then continue all the way down. And you gotta love moving these stitches out of your way. And then we're going to continue that single stitch all the way around. Keep in mind, you guys, you want to make sure you have a lots of stretch in it. That's going to help out a lot better when you're putting everything together, and it's going to lay a lot flatter than if you did it very tight. So I will meet you on the other side. All right, we're almost down to the end of this one. And then what we're going to do after we get through that last one, I'm going to remove this waste yarn. Let's get these extra tails out of our way that we do not need. So this is, that should be one more. And we're just going to double check. It looks like that one's still, so that one's not a loop. This is going to be for our other working yarn. I'm not going to cut that one right now. But actually, let me just grab that one just in case. I would rather grab it than not have it. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to pause right there. And then what I'm going to do is, remember that first side we started with the pink? We did that one solid row of white. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the midway through. And all I'm going to do is grab up that white yarn. And all we're going to do is just kind of pull it completely out. So it is removed right here. Set that one aside. And then your waste yarn should come off just so easy. Looks like we missed one right here, which is also a good learning experience. So once we miss one, remember you guys, we did when we sewed up the tail, all I'm going to do is thread that through. So that's actually a great stopping point and something to show you guys. So I missed this one right here. if I let go, and it will unravel through the whole entire work. So this is where we use to mattress stitch it all the way up. I'm just going to go through, put a darning needle into it, and then just go right through that middle. And I will be doing, I will be putting this in the inside, and we will thread it through later. But I can actually just move it over just like that. And then we're just going to figure out, get rid of this waste yarn. Usually I don't miss one, however it happens. Okay, so I did get it off of here. And what you want to do, the biggest important thing right here, is also give it a good stretch. What you're doing is you're making sure, for one, you didn't miss anything. If you did, it will unravel your whole entire row of knit. And that's one thing you don't want to do, especially with these projects. You've wasted a lot of time. So it looks like we are good. We did grab this one right here. I'm going to put that one to the inside, but it is held up. So now I'm going to do this one right here. Hopefully we didn't do that same exact thing, but I think it was a great learning experience to show on this recording. All right, same thing. I'm just going to pull all the way through. Make sure when you do it, when you have these ripcord methods, make sure that there's no knots in them. If you do have a knot in there, it will help, it will make your work, when you're unraveling it or taking it out, it will give you more of a pain in the keister than anything. All right, so same thing. We're going to make sure we give it a good stretch. Make sure we did not miss any one of these. So far, so good. All right, so now I'm going to put my crochet hook back in here. And remember we did that last stitch. We did that one right here. So what I'm going to do is I want to chain one, and then I want to do one more single crochet. And that's going to create the corner. I know this one's going to be a little bit loose, but it's because it's this tail right here. It's okay. I am actually going to scroll in for this part because this one is going to be a little bit harder to see. Let me scroll in really close, and hopefully that's not too close. All right, so when you did the side of the, let me get this out of the way. So when you did the side of your work, or the panel, so what it is you're going to hear me refer to the flats and then the shorts. So here's another flat, and then a short. So the short is where we turned our work. The flats is where we want to work into. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a single crochet in each one of those flats. So go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. And you're going to continue that all the way down. You're going to skip that short one right there. I'm going to highlight it with my fingernails. You're going to grab that long one right there. And you're going to continue this all the way down. So skip the short, grab the flats. And also doing the same thing, you're not doing it too tight. Skip that short, grab the flats. I don't know what the technical term is for it, but I'm calling it the shorts and the flats. The short, the flat, and then you're going to continue that all the way down. I'll do a couple more with you. And usually I do have it facing towards me. However, this side is actually facing away from me. I do apologize. But you're going to do this all the way down. And then once we get down all the way to the bottom corner, I will meet back up with you. Okay, we are coming back almost to the end. We're going to finish our couple of single crochets, and then we're going to work our way down all the way across like we did the very top. We're going to do the same exact thing as we did on the other side. All right, we're going to grab that last one. Sometimes they can be hidden, but it is okay. And what I'm going to do is we're going to grab this very top stitch, this very first one right here, and then we're going to create our corner. So we are going to grab that one up, single crochet, chain one, and single crochet in that same exact stitch. Once again, we are going to go all the way across right here. We are going to be working just on that very top row, making sure we're not grabbing our waste yarn on either the green or the white or whatever color you may be using. And we're going to do the single crochet all the way across. Making sure that it is not too tight, and then making sure also we're not grabbing our working yarn. I'll meet you back in the center point again. That way we can show you guys how to do that jump. Okay, we're getting really close to that middle. I just kind of wanted to showcase a little bit just in case, so we make sure we don't miss one like I did on the opposite side. Biggest thing is stretch those tails out. And my dog's flopping his ears. There we go. And it looks like we're going to grab one more on this side. Grabbing this one, and of course everything's going to be nice and difficult for this one. And then we're going to jump over to the opposite side. Same thing as before. When you do the tails, so it looks like we got one right here. So we're going to go in, grab that one, and then we're going to continue all the way down. And I will meet you on the opposite side, and then we will remove that waste yarn together. Okay, same thing. We are coming around to the side, and we're going to finish off a couple of these last stitches. Single crochet, and then we're going to remove that waste yarn. This one should be the last one. All right, we're going to pull up, that way we don't lose it. All right, so same thing, we're going to grab that one single row of waste yarn, which happens to be my red, and we're going to completely remove it. There we go. And then pops it off just like that. Give it a good stretch. Make sure we did not miss any. Looks like we are good. All right, do the same thing on the opposite side. Grab that one single row of white. Put that aside. Do the same thing. Make sure we pull it out. Make sure we don't have any other missing ones. And it looks like we are good. Don't worry about these tails, you guys. We're going to secure them later. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to continue all the way around doing, remember this side, we're going to do the shorts and the flats. Same thing that we did on the side. But before we move on, that was that last single crochet. We're going to chain one, and then we're going to single crochet in that same exact opening. And then we're going to turn our work. There is going to be a little tail. That is okay. We're going to turn our work. And now, same thing too. Unfortunately, this is going to keep rolling up on us. It is okay. We're going to deal with it. All right, so we're going to work on that first one. Sometimes that first one, because of that extra tail right there, we're just going to go ahead and grab a stitch right there. We're going to skip that short, work on the flats, single crochet all the way down until we get around to the opposite side. There's that short, there's the flats. And we're not doing it very tight. Okay, so since you went around and did all the single crochet around all of the edges, what I'm doing is I have both the seams right in the front side as well as the back side. And then also too, I have them knitted side facing each other. So we have the purl side facing out and then purl side facing out. So what we're going to do is now we're going to create that neck line holes. Okay, so now we are going to create that slip stitch. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go through that very first, and you guys, it looks a little bit different on mine. We're going to go through that very first stitch, going to go on the other side, and then all we're going to do is yarn over, and we're going to do a slip stitch. So we're going to slip it all the way through, and then keep it going all the way through. And we're going to do that all the way down. So making sure you're grabbing that full stitch right here, that full stitch right here, grab it, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And we're going to continue all the way down, doing that slip stitch. And what I usually do is I usually go until I think that it's going to be enough for the sleeve portion. And then what I will do is I will test it. And I don't secure your ends until you got exactly what you want on one side as well as the other. So all we're doing is just creating that little slip stitch, grabbing the stitches, yarning over, pulling through, and then pulling through. And so here is what it's going to look like. You're going to create that same exact stitching that will be on the inner work, so you will not see this from the outside. Grabbing this stitch, yarn over, pull through that stitch, and then pull through that last one. And we're going to go down to the next stitch, stitch on the other side, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And you want to make sure that you don't do it too tight, otherwise the tension is going to be really tight on here, and you want to make sure you don't have your tension so tight that it kind of creates a little cinching. So it definitely does take a little bit of finessing, but I'm telling you guys, you can do it. If I can do it, you guys can do it. I know you can. And continue this all the way down until you feel it is the perfect neck hole. So I'm going to stop right here. I know I'm not done with this part yet, but as you guys can see, I did seam up. So here's the seam right here. Let me put it closer. Here's the seam on the front side. Here's the seam on the back side. I did do a stitch marker. That way we can hold it where we need to so it doesn't move around or adjust. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing that we did on this side on the opposite side. And usually what I do is I go back and forth because I want to have a nice neck opening, but not too wide, because when we do the cowl, it will actually do a little bit of stretching. So you want to make sure it's not too wide, otherwise it's going to show the inner shirt. So we're going to finish. I'm going to do a couple more on this side, and then I will switch around and do the opposite side. I'm not going to fasten off this side because of the fact, like I said, we might need to do a couple more here and there. And we skipped one. There we go. And we're creating that slip stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a big loop. I'm going to leave it just like that, and then I'm going to turn my work, making sure I don't get my yarn tails all tangled up. So what I'm going to do is put this one over here, and then this one is coming unraveled, and we're going to start all over again. So you can see where I put a big huge loop on this one. I'm just going to pull straight through. We're going to get this lined up nice and neat, and it might take a little finessing. Plus, with me having it on, making sure I have it on the view, it's a little bit harder for me. All right, and so what we're going to do is we're going to go through that very first one, even though it's coming out that same exact. I'm going to go ahead and grab that opposite side right here. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Move over to the next stitch. This one's kind of hiding a little bit. There we go. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And just kind of work your way down. Just making sure that we're going through the same exact stitching. And you will have to kind of turn your work. Okay, so right now I've got this one. Here's another way to do it too. So you see that we did all the way up to here. What you can do is fold your piece in half, and this is what I try to tend to do. Fold it in half and make sure that it's even. As you guys can see, we stopped right here, and we went all the way over here. So I'm going to do a couple more rows on that side. So I'm going to flip my work over and then make sure that none of the tails gets twisted. It will happen because you're going back and forth. So we're going to do a little bit more. You can measure it, but with yarn, sometimes one's stretched out a little bit different. I'm going to try to do a single crochet. We're still doing the slip stitch. I'm going to do a couple more. Slip in, right there. And let me try one more. And then I will fold it across again, just to make sure it's even. And this is the way I do mine. Feel free to measure it if you would like. I feel that we still need a couple more on this side. As you guys can see, I'm putting it up next to right here, and then we're giving it a stretch. I think it just needs a couple more stitches because I don't want the neck opening to be too wide. Okay, try that again. And I'm feeling that that's going to be right on the money. All right, so now I just decide, do I need to have this much opening for the neck hole? And I think I'm going to do a couple extra on here. You do the way you guys would like. If you guys would like a wider neck opening, then please leave it wider. I do have a very small frame, so I'm going to close mine up 2 more stitches on that side, and which will most likely be 2 more stitches on this side. But I'm also going to do the same thing that we've been doing, making sure it's even and even on this side with the other side. So we're going to do 2 more stitches. Okay. Lots of yarn tails hanging in the way, so I think that's right about. So what I'm going to do is I do have, this tail is a little bit shorter. No, this one's the longer one. So as you guys can see, I'm still got plenty of yarn left over. I'm not going to cut this one. But what I am going to do is I'm going to secure the opposite side. So I'm going to bring all my yarn tails over. And we are going to secure this one. So all I'm going to do is grab my yarn over, pull through. I'm going to cut a kind of long tail so I can weave it in, and we're going to pull it and we're going to give a nice little tug. So this side is done, so I'm going to move that out of the way. Now for the other side, so I'm going to take this off because I think this is going to be a perfect opening for myself. This one is for me. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start doing the neck cowl portion. So I'm going to take this, we're going to flip it right side over for me, for my crocheting. And then what I'm going to do is I try to do a single crochet, and we're going to go all the way around this one right here. So we're going to chain, and then what we're going to do is single crochet all the way around. single crochet, and I will meet you guys around. I'll meet you on the opposite side once we get to this side over here. Okay, so we are nearing the opposite side. I'm still doing that single crochet all the way around. Once we got 2 more stitches, no, 1 more. All right, so now I'm going to do a slip stitch. Slip stitch is put your yarn through, or your hook through, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through. All right, here's the fun part, you guys. This is, to me, I think this is the most difficult part. We're going to start the cowl part. What I want to do is I want to chain however many. I usually chain 20. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't chain them too tight. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So I also want to do chain an extra one. So we're doing 20 plus 1. We are going to work in the back loop. So we're going to skip the very first one. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a single crochet in each one of the loops. And we're going to work all the way down. Trying to keep it in view and have it stretched out a little bit. Okay, we're just working 20 single crochets all the way down. Or each crochet all the way down. And don't worry, your work will kind of curl. As you guys can see that mine is starting to curl. I'm not keeping my stitches super tight. We are almost all the way down. And you can keep count. Keeping count actually does help out, because especially on the last one. So we got 1 more after this. All right, here's our last stitch right here. So we're going to go in, we're going to yarn over, pull through. We're going to go into, and I'm trying to open this up, we're going to go into that same exact stitch that we are already in. So we're going to anchor it. So there it is, yarn over, pull through, and then we're going to pull through both of those. We're going to move over to the next stitch over. So we just went through this one. Now we're going in this one, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Now we're going to turn our work. What we're going to do is, what I like to do is put my yarn behind my hook and then turn my work. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to, you see this right here, this is that long curly Q. That is the yarn that we are going to be going into, and this is going to create that neck cowl. What I'm going to do is, you guys can see, I'm going to scroll in just a bit. You guys can see this one, we're going to skip this one and we're going to go into this stitch right here. But this one, we're only going to do the back loop. So we're going to skip the front loop and we're going to grab the back loop only, yarn over, and we're going to do a single crochet in the back loop only. So yarn through the back loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, and pull through 2. This is the most time consuming, I believe. And we're just going to work all the way up. And this is also going to create that ribbing effect. We're almost nearing the end of this one. And I'll work the next one with you all the way down. And then what I will do is, once we switch around, that's when I will fast forward and then have you guys finish the rest, and then I'll meet you back at the other end. All right, we got a couple more. All right, this last one, you want to go through that full entire V. So normally we've been going through the back loop only. This is the only one that you're going to want to grab that full entire stitch. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through 2. We're going to chain 1, and then again, we're going to turn our work. So now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do still back loop only. We're going to skip that first one right there that you see, and we're going to go into this one right here, and we're doing back loop only. Single crochet, back loop only, all the way down. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 10 more. This is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So we got one more. Sometimes this one likes to hide. So we're going to grab right here. It's a little bit hidden. We're going to yarn over, pull through. We still have 2 loops on here. Now we're going to anchor it. It was what's called anchoring. We're going to go into that same exact stitch that we went to before. We're going to yarn over, pull through. We still have 3 on here, and then we're going to continue to pull this one through both of those. All right, so we got that one anchored. We're going to move on to the very next stitch over. We're going to yarn, go through, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And then, like I said, we're going to turn our work. I like to put my crochet hook on the other side, and then we're going to automatically move on to the next. So remember, you guys, keep this one. Do not use this one right here. It does look like it would be a stitch that you would go into. We're going to skip that one, and we're going to move into that side right here. Remember, back loop, single crochet, back loop only all the way through. And you're going to see it's going to start giving you that nice ribbing effect. As you guys can see right there, nice ribbing effect. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're going to count the second set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that last one, grabbing that full entire stitch. I made it a little bit tighter. And there's that 10th one. We're going to chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work. And this time we are actually going to close these sides together. So what you want to do is, of course, you're going to skip that one right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go the back loop on this side, and then opposite, we're going to grab that very top one. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to slip stitch all the way through. We're going to go all the way down, doing the same exact thing. Grabbing that back loop only, going opposite side, grab that stitch, yarn over, and pull through. And continue that all the way down. Should have 20 stitches on each side. And I'm trying to keep it in the view, and usually I don't hold it this way, but I'm just doing it just for the video purposes. Making sure you don't miss a stitch. And my work keeps falling down off the table, or off the desk, I should say. And you're going to do this all the way down until you get down to the end. Once you get down to the end, we will fasten it off, cut off the yarn, and then, of course, weave in all your tails as necessary. Almost there. Last one on this side, last one on that side. Yarn all the way through. We're going to yarn over, and then we're going to grab our scissors and just snip off a long tail, and then that way we can weave it in at a later time. And it should look exactly like that, or something similar to this. Okay, so this is what you should have gotten. Like I said, this is still inside. So now we're going to work the border. After we get this done, I did still have one of my yarn tails attached. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one, and it happens to be on a corner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start a double crochet all the way around. Since it is a corner, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to do a double crochet in that same exact opening, and that's going to kind of create 2. So I'm going to work this way all the way down, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a double crochet in each one. Remember, we did the single crochet all the way around. So now we're just going to do a double crochet in each and every one of those crochets. And we're just going to go all the way around, and you should go around the whole entire work. Don't do it too tight. Do it as fast as you guys are able to, or slow as you're able to, either or. But you want to make sure that you don't go too fast. So I'm going to do the double crochet over all the way around. Keep in mind, your ends will start to curl. That is okay. We're eventually going to block this. So yarn over, go through the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to do that, continue all the way all around until you get to the other side. What you can do is, just in case, you can put a stitch marker right here. I'm not going to, but just go ahead and put a stitch marker right here, and you should be able to tell the difference between a single crochet and a double crochet. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go all the way around. I will meet you guys on the other side. Okay, so we're doing the double crochet all the way around, and I'm just about to hit the other side. So I'm going to finish off these last couple stitches, and right there. Oh, we can put one more in here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a slip stitch. There we go. All right, so now we're going to do, we're going to chain 3. And we're going to do a double crochet, but this time we're going to do front post, back post. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go in through the opening, go around the back side of that post. I'm going to yarn over, pull through, and I'm going to finish my double crochet. So for this one, I'm going to do two front posts. So same thing, go around the back side of the post, come through, and then we're going to finish off our double crochet. Now we're going to do back post. What we're going to do is we're going to go yarn over, go back in front, grab the yarn, and we're going to pull it, and this is going to be back post. So we're going to do 2 back posts, and we're going to do the same thing all the way around. Oops. So we're yarn over, going through the back, coming to the front, going back through the back, grabbing our yarn, bringing it all the way back around, and then doing our double crochet. All right, so we did 2 front posts, 2 back posts. Now we're going to start that all over again. We're going to go through the front post. So we're going to go in through the front, come around the back, yarn over, bring it all the way through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to do that one more time. Go through the front side, through to the back, and come back around, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So we did 2. Okay, so now we're going to do 2 back posts. We're going to go through the back, come through the front, go through the back, yarn over, pull through, and then finish our double crochet. Do it one more time, through the front, back, the back to the front. That is going to be your front post, then back post. Same thing, yarn over, go through the back to the front, to the back again, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to do that one more time, and you're going to alternate. You're going to go through back front post twice, back post twice. So this is front post, and now we're going to do back post. And we're going to do that all the way around. I'll meet you on one of the corners, and that way I can show you guys what I do. Okay, so now we are nearing the corner. Last 2 was a back post. Now we're going to do front post. And all I did was just kind of round it out. So we're going to do the front post, and then we're going to do back post, double crochet, and back post, double crochet. And it should automatically round it out. We're going to do front post and front post. And then, so you guys see how it is starting to turn. It will give it a nice curve, and this is the pattern that is making right there. I absolutely love this. I will actually go all the way around, and I'll meet you guys on the other side. All right, so we are nearing the end, and I'm still doing front post, back post. I'm doing 2 front posts, 2 back posts. So we're getting to the end. We're going to do front post right here. One more front post right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a slip stitch. So slip, slip, and then we're going to do that chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. So the next round that we do, and I'm going to put an extra stitch right here, so I'm going to do an extra double crochet right in this spot, just so we can kind of curve it a little bit better. We're going to turn our work, and now since we did the front post, back post, for this one I want to do the same exact. So this is going to be a front post. We're going to yarn over, go through the back to the front, and yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to do that one more time. So whatever you did on the last row, that's what you're going to do on this row. So we did 2 front posts. Now we're going to grab 2 back posts. We have one right here and one right here. Go 2 back posts. 1 and 2. Okay. And then grab front post again. And you're going to continue this all the way around for this whole entire row. After this, I will fasten off, and then this poncho is completed, with the exception of if you would like to add buttons for details, you feel free to do that. That's what I did with my last one. So as you guys can see, we're going to do back, up, back, up. So it gives you that kind of like a basket weave pattern onto this. So continue all the way around, and I'm going to meet you right back over here. We will close this up and then fasten off. Okay, so we are nearing the end. So I'm going to finish up the last couple ones. So back loop only, front loop, another front loop. And since I started on a corner, I'm going to continue just a little bit, and we're just going to kind of make my own stitch right here. And one more. And then we're going to fasten off right there. So we're going to yarn over, pull through, and then cut off excess yarn. And bind it off. All right, so now all I'm going to do is weave in my ends. This is the finished look right here for the ribbing. It goes all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and finish my ends, and then I'm going to block it, and then I will show you guys the finished product.